Ah, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. Welcome to Elvis the Ultimate Fan Channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I can live up to your expectations. So, will we get this show on the road? So, hello everyone. You'll have to excuse me because I'm still actually suffering from something. I'm not too sure what it is. It's throat, nose, head, eyes, everything. So, but actually, looking in the live chat there, I can see that quite a few of us are actually have some sort of malady or so forth. So, yeah, not good. Hi. Maxine, thanks for moderating for me. Hi Chris, thanks for moderating for me as well. So yeah, it's sort of that time of year where it's just not very good. There seems to be a lot of awful things making the rounds. So Steve kissed a girl and got the creeping crud. Yes, that's probably how it did happen actually. Okay, right. So without further ado, what have we got coming for you? Well, this week's topic is what is your opinion on Vernon Presley? So I'm looking for people to get into the Discord queue and talk to me about that. I'll be looking forward to your opinions on that. I'm sure there are quite a few opinions on Elvis's father, and Elvis is keeping a close watch on us, as you can see. So I thought I'd leave the background for one more week. I've got a new quiz jingle as well, which I made up all by myself. Kirsty, this isn't down to you, sweetheart. This is mine. Okay, so looking forward to that. Who's going to be the first recipient of that quiz jingle? So we've got we've got that new feature. It only came online a few weeks ago. I wish Elvis had sung this song live. That's obviously a song that he recorded in the studio, but he never sang it live on stage. And is it my choice, or did somebody send in a choice? Chris R. Yes, I'm using your suggestion this week for I wish Elvis had sung this song live. We've got an underrated Elvis song, This Day in Elvis History. A live poll. The poll sort of ties in with the topic. Photoshop of the week. Caption this photo. Will I say it? Yes. Smoking hot. Smoking hot photo. And that's the sort of reaction that a smoking hot photograph gets every week, so you can imagine what that's like. So stick around for that. And then, of course, you can phone in, as I say, get into the queue on Discord. If you're not on Discord yet, there is a link below this video and you can join our Discord group, channel, server, whatever you want to call it. And we've been having a lot of fun on there this week, and especially today with it being the Super Bowl day for you in the US. I think it's a few hours away yet, but thanks for joining me anyway. And a lot of the Elvis pictures of the day have been with him obviously playing football. So we've had a lot of fun with that. Miles High has just reminded me as well. New footage emerged this week of Elvis. Footage of him deplaning before a show in Montgomery in 1977. And also January 1958, heading out to Hollywood. And on his way, he was interviewed by a television station. So there was no point in me loading it up on this channel because a lot of people had done it before me. I think Elvis Lass did the January 1958. So if you want to check that out, go over to Elvis Lass's channel. And the Montgomery one was, it's all over YouTube. So worth a look. So yeah, it's good to think that there's still all these little bits and bobs coming out. I'm sure there's more still to come. So we can all look forward to that. And yeah, he was on his way out to make King Creole, I believe, in that January 1958 footage. So here we go. Without further ado, Fan of the Month quiz. Oh, I'll be telling you later who won last month's January's Fan of the Month quiz. And this basically is very easy. I read out a line from a song, and you have to type in the next line. I believe the 1958 footage was him on a train going to New Orleans where he filmed King Creole. Okay, Mike? Yeah, whatever, but you get the gist. He was on his way to for King Creole production. Actually, Elvis looked good in Montgomery, Steve. Yeah, he did. I thought he was moving a little bit slower than normal, but why not? Walk easy. Can you sing it, Steve? No, unfortunately not, Mrs. EAP. I can't sing the lines. My throat isn't good enough for me to sing this week. Right. Number one. You've got to type the next. I'll tell you how many words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking for the next 5 words. Listen easy. You can hear God calling. There you are. I told you they were easy, didn't I? And I'm going to have a drink, if that's okay, folks. Okay. Yep. Looks like a couple of folks have got it. Dylan's World, I believe in the man in the sky. I have no idea. Where are you going with that, Dylan? No. Okay, well, I do see quite a few people getting it, so I will tell you that it's Walking Barefoot by a Stream, and I am being told that it was Mark Green. Just pipped Jack at the post, I believe, if I'm correct. So, I'm going to give this very first jingle to Mark, a new one, and this is it.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss. But I don't think she got the kiss, because if you listen to the rest of that clip from having fun on having fun on stage with Elvis, there's a lot of laughter and a lot of uproar after it, and then he says, "That's showbiz, honey." So I don't think she got the kiss. So that's the new jingle. Watch out, everyone. Elvis is looking down at us. Yes, he is. He's keeping an eye on everybody. Well, it's like this. The moderators do a good job, and if they see any funny business, they will normally remove the comment, and if it's very bad, they remove the person as well. That's the way it is. So, did you see what I did there? The next question is, I'll tell you how many words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh dear. Okay, get those typing fingers going. Here we go. Wish I was an apple dangling from a tree. Oh yeah. Who is going to give me those 12 words? Wow. Now that was Dylan. You're very bad at this, my friend. You are so good at so many topics, but I've got you with these, haven't I? I've got you with these. Okay. Oh, did I not type that? Okay. Sorry, Chris. Well, I can tell you anyway by going back that it was, believe it or not, every time you'd pass me by, you'd take a bite of me, was Jack Mullins. I thought I typed it. I've got something different for number 2. Okay, well, it'll work its way out. That's strange. I will check my messages to you later, Chris, but it'll work its way out and you'll know which is the right one. So, Jack is getting a towel, a scarf, and no kiss.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
Right. Here we go. Chris says, sorry, maybe me. Sorry, folks, just had to clear my throat there. Right. It's not a good thing to be having to do when you've got a sore throat and a sore nose and sore this and sore that, but I will I will plow on. Okay, here we go. And now this is a good one. I always walk around with all my fingers crossed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. I always walk around with all my fingers crossed. Oh, of course, yes. Helen says, I love that Dylan tries nevertheless. Oh yeah, throw something in there, whatever you think it is, throw it out there. Now you see, Dylan's got it right there. So, he was just toying with me. He was, but it looks like, believe it or not, 2 in a row for Jack Mullins. Yeah. Again, Steve, I have something different. I'm gonna have to check this out, Chris. I sent you a DM on Discord with those with those answers. I don't know what I've done. Did I send you last week's or something? Anyway, answers showing before the questions are asked, then you'll have to refresh. That's what you'll have to do. You'll have to refresh. Okay, so Jack is getting the towel, scarf, but no kiss again.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
It's not surprising that a singer is getting all the these questions right. Yeah, and I write them down. Okay, fair enough. I won't be able to check at the moment because I'll probably end up mucking Discord up if I try. But I could have sworn I sent you the right question, the right answers. Right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words, and it's come on, kids, from 8 to 80. It could just be down to Maxine maybe moderating these questions today if I've sent you the wrong answers. Oh, Timothy is close. Do you know what? Flintstones were the Flintstones. Yabba dabba doo, Dylan. I like it. I just there's no playing against Jack tonight. There really isn't. That's 3 in a row for Jack. Wow, unbelievable.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
And not to worry, Chris. I will check. It's probably my fault. I probably copy and pasted the wrong answers this week or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. Although I sent them to Maxine first and then copy and pasted them, I thought. So, Ginger O'Neill, hi Ginger, says, I've never heard that song. Yeah, it's Carnival Time. The one prior to that was I Got Lucky. The one prior to that, Every Time You Pass Me By, You Take a Bite of Me, was Cindy Cindy. And the very, very first one was The Grass Won't Pay No Mind. So if I didn't tell you that, there you go. That's what the four ones were from. The four lines were from. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words. And the words that precede those 7 words are, Must I Forever Stay a Beggar? Join the call-in queue now using Discord. If you're not a member, join now using the link below. Thank you, Streamlabs. Whose golden dreams will not come true. My goodness, Jack. You are on fire. It's rags to riches, but I can't think. Yes, Dylan, you're right. That's what it is. It's from rags to riches, whose golden dreams will not come true. And Jack is just wiping the floor, and he's just wiping the board tonight.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
Well done, Jack. Well done. And finally, we've got rags to riches, that one was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words following dreams that I had, they lay broken in sorrow. Chris says, love the jingle. Yeah. It's not bad, is it? Lily Ramos says, enough. I think she's saying enough, Jack. Shirley Ellis says, killing us, Jack. He doesn't have weeks like this very often, though. This is an exception, folks. He is very good, though. I'm telling you, he is very, very good when it comes to Elvis. Jack drank Red Bull this morning. Jack has got so many scarves, he's right. Yeah. Okay, dreams that I had, they lay broken in sorrow. Elvis Austin says, my brain is a fog. Nobody's actually got it yet, believe it or not. A lot of people have got close. Is this going to be one of the weeks when I stump you with a question? Like I'm saying, I'm being very, very, very particular here. People have got very close, but they've got a couple of words wrong. Ooh, Sally Billing is nearly there. The love we shared, that bloke's gone tomorrow. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to call this one a win for me. Okay, I'm going to have to check the lyrics on this because a lot of people are saying that it is something that I haven't got down. So just bear with me a second. I'm going to Google this. I'm going to go... and it's an Elvis song. Here we go. And I'm going to go lyrics. Lyrics. Here we go. I Miss You. Song lyrics by Elvis Presley. Okay. And that doesn't give me the lyrics. Would you believe that? What about this? Here we go. Right. Yeah. What I've got down is correct. So I'm still looking for, and I think somebody has actually got it. The plans I made, my hopes for tomorrow. Who was the first person that got it? The plans I made, my hopes for tomorrow. Okay, Pat. I'm being told that Pat got the lyrics. Well done. I was obviously on another screen checking out to make sure I hadn't made a mistake. So it's Pat Shepherd. Right. Okay, Pat Shepherd. Well done, Pat Shepherd. You stopped Jack anyway. Okay, here we go.
Here's the towel. Here's the scarf. There's the kiss.
Vincenzo says you should do a jumpsuit quiz, Steve. Yeah, don't worry, I will be doing the jumpsuits again. And that will really... It's my birthday next Sunday, Steve. Jumpsuit quiz. Oh, ho, ho! Do you hear that? Right, okay. We'll have to think about that. But yeah, that is one of Dylan's specialist subjects. And thanks very much to everybody that took part in the Fan of the Month quiz. I will be announcing the winner of last month's quiz, and I might be able to do it live as well to that person. Let's see if I can maybe get that person on the line later. Right, the subject, as you can see from the screen, is what is your opinion on Vernon Presley? And this came into my head because of what was happening around this time about 49 years ago. In I sort of prefaced this by saying Vernon guilt trips Elvis. In 1975, both Elvis and his father Vernon were in Baptist Memorial Hospital. Elvis's doctors wanted to make sure the medication he was taking hadn't caused too much damage to his organs, and Vernon was recovering from a heart attack. The two men had neighbouring rooms, but this brought little comfort to them. According to Elvis's cousin, Billy Smith... will I put my teeth in properly? Elvis's cousin, Billy Smith, Elvis and his father were not getting along during this period. Vernon began to blame Elvis for significant problems. On January the 29th, Elvis complained of shortness of breath. His doctor admitted him to the hospital to try and get his use of medications under control and to make sure he hadn't damaged his liver. On February the 5th, Vernon had a heart attack and was admitted to the same hospital. Elvis ensured his father had the room next to him. So all this was happening right around this time, 45 years ago. They didn't bring much comfort, though. Vernon began to blame his heart attack on his son and also said that Elvis's mother's death had been Elvis's fault. He said, "I can thank you for this," Billy Smith recalled in the book Careless Love, The Unmaking of Elvis Presley by Peter Guralnick. And then he said, he blamed him for Aunt Gladys's too. He said, "You worried your mama right to the grave." Some believe that the stress she felt over Elvis's military hastened the decline of her health. To hear his father bring this up devastated Elvis. Elvis broke down and cried, Billy said. It just about killed him. So, without further ado, what does everybody think about Vernon Presley? What do you think about him blaming Elvis for his heart attack? Blaming the fact that, or saying that Elvis inadvertently, if you like, worried his mama into the grave? Do you think that Vernon Presley was the right man to take on Elvis's financial affairs? Because we know he was sort of, they didn't employ anybody else to do the financial side of things, but did they not trust anybody outside of Parker and Vernon, anybody else outside the family, apart from Parker, of course, to have monetary dealings? There was no sort of rainy day fund put aside by Vernon. Was Vernon just there for the ride and for the money, just like everybody else, as it was hinted in the Baz Luhrmann movie? There's that scene where, just after the Colonel has given Elvis the bill for how much he owes him, and Elvis is leaving the hotel, and he comes across Parker, and Parker says, "Yes, even your father has used you. Even your father has put himself first." And so, yeah, that's really what I'm sort of wondering. Before we do go to the phone lines, we will do the poll, of course, and the poll is part and parcel of the topic. And I'm asking you, was Vernon, and the options are unfair about his remarks to Elvis? Was he trying to get Elvis to change his ways? Was he using Elvis, or trying the best he could? So that's sort of the top and tail of it at the moment. Was Vernon unfair about his remarks to Elvis? Was he trying to get Elvis to change his ways? Was he using Elvis, or was he just trying the best that he could under the circumstances? So those are the the four topics, or the four options. Unfortunately, YouTube polls do not allow more than 4 options. I could have put quite a few more options there, but that's it. So without further ado, I think the best thing I can do is put myself into the call channel, and I can then say, "Hi, Brent. How are you?"
Hey, Steve.
Yeah, you always worry me, because it always takes a while for you to come online.
No, I don't know why the button wouldn't unclick on Discord. This one's on Discord. Usually it's my fault. Not today, though.
Okay. But you do worry me. But I always wait because I know you're there.
Well, you want to keep them waiting. You want to build the anticipation. That way your entrance is that much more spectacular.
Most definitely. I mean, we nearly had time there to play the 2001 there, didn't we?
Yeah, we were just starting to get into CC Rider, and then the mic went on, and so... Well, what an interesting topic, because I think all of us as Elvis fans, Steve, have kind of bounced this idea around in our heads because we're trying to make an overall assessment based on limited information and no exposure beyond what has been reported by secondhand sources and stuff. Part of me, though, wonders if Vernon was really the type to have this malignant personality, wouldn't he kind of abandon them back when they had nothing?
Yeah.
A lot of men did that back then. They just said, I don't have the ability or the wherewithal to take care of a family with such depressing circumstances. So I put that in a column for his favor. But there have been, first of all, maybe back then they did stuff like that, but you just don't throw blame for someone's mortality onto someone else's face. You just don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, there has been rumors as well, and I think some of this came from the Alana Nash book, was that Vernon did go off at times and run around and drink with other women as well while he was married to Gladys.
Well, that only makes him Southern. No, I'm joking. Okay, that was bad. Okay, no. No, but there is a thing about the South where, like, this machismo thing that a lot of men have. Even Elvis had aspects of it. This, you're a down-home good man, but you love your ladies kind of thing. And I'm not saying it's right, not giving him a pass on that. I would not be surprised. I can't, of course, neither of us can substantiate the claim, but I wouldn't be surprised either. I think Vernon was a human being, but there were some things I didn't like, though, because, and this is factual stuff, I would have looked out for my son before allowing the Colonel to dictate terms. Remember in that Baz Luhrmann film when they're in the room, it really looks like an innocuous moment in the film, but it actually, I think, demonstrated something. There's that part where the Colonel says, taking care of business, and it just zooms over to Vernon, and he goes, taking care of business.
Yeah.
And it sounded like it looked dumb at the beginning. Well, why did they cut to that? What was the point of that? But maybe it was the point that he just agreed in such a knee jerk fashion to whatever the colonel wanted. And I'm sorry, Steve, if I had kids, no one would come between me and my kids. What would be best for my son would trump everything else.
Yeah. Now, one thing that struck me when I was compiling the show as well was, do you think that Vernon was probably just a little scared? You know, he'd had a heart attack. He came close to death. Was he just sort of lashing out? I mean, they always say you lash out the people closest to you and the people you love sometimes. Maybe that was why he was saying that. You know, I'm blaming you for my heart attack.
Of course, and you know what? If if there is anyone on the Discord server or on your YouTube chat who has never said anything wrong and in terrible taste to someone else in the heat of an argument or
Hmm.
during times of increased stress,
Yeah.
then congratulations, because you're the first person who's ever been like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
We all have, Steve. We've all said things we regret. I've
Hmm.
said horrible things I wish I could take back during, with that pressure cooker. I think sometimes we feel defenseless. And when we're scared and defenseless, the only thing we have is the power to say something to make someone else feel the pain that we are feeling. And
Yeah.
it's more of an explanation than that of a justification.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Okay, Brent. Always great to hear from you.
Okay, Steve, and thank you so much. A great show so far. All
Thanks very much. Cheers.
right,
Bye
later.
bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was young Brent. As always, let's have a look. We've got another caller, and it's Cameron. Hi, Cameron.
Hey Steve, how are you?
Nice to speak to you again. How are you doing?
Yeah, well and you. Glad to hear that your voice is holding out at least.
Yes, I don't know how much longer, but I'll keep going anyway.
Yeah, that's the only way we know how, Steve. And with Elvis as a topic, there's no room for sickness, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do you think about Vernon then?
Yeah, I tend to agree with a lot of what Jack says. I think in the heat of the moment, a person says things sometimes that they later regret. But it's open to interpretation because look, if we're really honest, none of us were really there. None of us were
Mm,
present in the room.
that's a
And
really
you
good
know,
point. Yeah, and we don't know how Vernon was feeling either. I'm sure he was pretty scared because he probably thought he was on his way out with a heart attack. He came close to death.
yeah, and I think once people tell stories and they retell stories as stories have been retold over the years, people tend to elaborate on things and to add little bits and pieces to make the stories believable. So it's kind of hard to make an informed choice with regard to Vernon as a person. But if I would have to say, if I would be put on the spot, I would have to say, if indeed he did say something like that, a person would have to have a look at the circumstance um, in which something like that possibly could have been said. And to agree with what Jack says, I don't think Vernon was a malicious person at heart. Um, so if he had said that, it possibly might have just been a case of him wanting to blame something or someone for the situation that he'd found himself in. And as Brent correctly stated, a person tends to do those kind of things to the people that are closest to you at the
Hmm.
time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wondering whether he was trying to get Elvis to change his ways. That's one of the options in the poll, actually. Um, did you
Yes.
did you actually vote on the poll?
Yes, I did. I my choice was, I think Vernon was doing the best that he could. Because we all know that nobody ever told Elvis no.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if you were an associate or if you were a family member. As soon as you told him no, you cannot have that, he would be like a small boy throwing a tantrum. So I think it might have been a very difficult position for all of them to be in, knowing that he was going down a road that would potentially be harmful to him and might potentially cost him his life at the end of it. I think it's a very difficult position to be in. Um, especially if you do care for the person as much as the people that were around him did. Um, I think it must be very frustrating for them to kind of see him running towards a brick wall and trying their best to warn him
Mm-hmm.
about that,
Yeah.
but also him being stubborn in saying that I have it under control. It's my life. Because we all know, Sonny and Red and all those guys had tried that, and what happened to them? They were let go.
Yeah, and
So
he could even have cut his father out of everything as well if his father had gone too far and said, stop this, stop that, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, I know Vernon tried to stop him spending so much at one time, and Elvis near enough said, "Look, mind your own business. It's my money. If I need more money, I'll just do another tour." That's what Elvis would say.
exactly, and I think from his father's perspective, having been there when times were tough and having had to have gone to prison to try and make ends meet, etc., etc., um, it might have been a situation where his father looked at it in terms of, say something to the extent of, um, possibly losing my comfort zone
Mm.
or keeping quiet and continuing on the road that I'm on. Namely, we don't need to want for anything. Um, I think he took the safer option for him,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, in terms of just keeping his opinion to himself and hoping that Elvis's ways would change, which unfortunately we all knew never did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's. I think everyone involved at the time was caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
I previously stated, I think it's very difficult to be in that kind of position, knowing that the person you love and the person you care about is on a self-destructive path,
Yeah.
and there's absolutely nothing you can do. I mean, people were asked around that time, why didn't you guys have him committed? And like they said, he's a 40-year-old man. You can't prove that he's crazy.
Exactly. I mean,
You
they
can't
always
prove
say
that
that
he's
if you want help, the first person that has to acknowledge that is the person themselves. They have to acknowledge that they need help. And I don't think Elvis ever really acknowledged that he needed help.
No, I don't think he acknowledged to anyone around him that he needed help, but we all know that he was a very clever person.
Mm.
And I think deep down he knew that he might have had a problem, but unfortunately for those times, receiving prescription medication, he kind of sugarcoated it for himself, saying that these are medications that are coming from doctors,
Mm-hmm.
and the doctors will look after me, which
Yeah.
unfortunately is very short-sighted, because doctors don't care for their patients; they care for the money that comes in.
Yeah. All right, Cameron. Good points. Very well put. Thanks very much. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, and agreed with with Brent's sentiments. Great show so far, and always nice talking
Thank you
to you.
very much. Thank you. Bye-bye now. Bye. That was Cameron. And we move on, if my throat will hold up. And I will say, hi, Dylan.
Hello, sir.
Well, birthday boy, minus 1 week.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah. So we're looking at probably what is it? Is it the 18th? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, I have to do something. I'll have to do a special quiz for you. But then again, that would give you the unfortunate advantage, wouldn't it? That would give you an unfair advantage if I did the name the jumpsuit.
Oh, come on, Steve. It's my birthday. Come on.
So, what do you think about Vernon?
I think he was doing the best that he could.
Do you? Right. Fair enough.
And I think he did love him, even though, people do lash out. And it's kind of unfair for people to blame Vernon. He was sick. And he can't help what he says.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it before.
Yeah, I know. And if he was in pain or he was scared or anything like that, he could just be lashing out at Elvis. They always reckon that you hurt the closest to you in those situations.
Yeah.
What about, Elvis was very unhappy with the fact that Vernon remarried so soon. In fact, Elvis didn't go to the wedding. He could have gone to the wedding. I'm sure he could have gone to Vernon and Dee's wedding if he'd wanted to, but he didn't.
No, but I think it's just because it was so close after Gladys went. And maybe he couldn't accept her, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we know that he never really took to Dee, did he?
No, because in his eyes, only one female figure in his life.
Yeah,
and that was his mum.
Oh yeah. I think he even said, I've only got one mother, and as long as she realizes that she won't take her place, we'll get along just fine. So yeah, okay. So you voted trying the best he could, yeah?
Yeah, I voted trying the best he could, but I also I just want to apologize for my voice as well.
Oh, yeah. I think half of us on this channel are actually all crocked, I think.
No, well, and yeah, well, everyone else is because they're all old, but I can't help it. So.
No, I've actually got something to tell you, actually, because I said that I was going to announce the winner of the Fan of the Month for January. Well, believe it or not, young man, it's you. Yes, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I was going to say was, I don't know if you want to choose one. You can let me know if you can't choose one here and now. An Elvis Blu-ray.
An Elvis Blu-ray
that you haven't got, of course.
That I have this change of habit.
You've probably got them all, have you?
I've nearly got one that I've not seen yet that I want to see. Change of Habit.
Is it available in Blu-ray?
You know what? I'm gonna go. Hang on. I'm gonna Google it right now. Hang on.
Yes. Google it for me while we're on.
Change of Habit.
Just go Amazon and then go Change of Habit Blu-ray.
Yep. It's on Blu-ray.
Right. Okay. Well, if that's the one you want, it'll be winging its way to you then next week.
Oh, nice one.
So congratulations, Dylan. You are the. I should have done this before I told them who it was.
Actually, wait. Can I donate it to Brent? Actually,
if you wish, yes. If Brent, you're still listening, it sounds like you've got a Change of Habit Blu-ray coming your way. There you go. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Because here's the thing, no one deserves it more than Brent, to be fair. So, okay. Brent, you've got a Change of Habit DVD coming.
Right. Well, that's very, very nice of you, Dylan. Very, very nice. I'm sure there'll be more months when you'll be a winner anyway, because you're extremely good. You, when I do the jumpsuits and things like that, you normally get a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, I think on these lyrics one, I think I should get a point just for comedy.
Yeah. Yes. Very good. All right, young man. I'll talk to you again.
I thank you.
All the best. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't that lovely of Dylan to donate the prize of a Change of Habit Blu-ray to Brent? Now, of course, if Brent wants to choose a different one, he can, of course, because he might have Change of Habit on Blu-ray. But the fact that Dylan has donated the prize to him is very, very kind. Right, who have we got next? Let's have a look. I can see that we have somebody called Carolina. Hello, Carolina. I hope that...
How are you?
Yes, hello, Carolina.
Let me...
You're coming through loud and clear. Oh. Maybe I spoke too soon. Carolina, will I come back to you? I can always Hello? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Carolina a little chance to sort her line out, and I will say, hello, Vincenzo.
Hi, Steve.
Ah, there you are, young man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course I can. So, what do you think of Vernon Presley?
I don't think he meant what he said.
You think like I think. He was frightened. He was worried for both of them.
I think he was trying to get Elvis to change his ways.
Oh, right. Is that what you voted on the poll?
Yeah.
Right. Trying to get Elvis to change his ways by saying that, you've got me into hospital. You worried your mother as well. He probably. Do you know what I thought of?
Because Vernon loved Elvis.
Yes. I'm pretty sure of that. But everything else aside, he definitely loved his son.
Yeah. Could you see the Elvis in concert special at the end when he was talking?
Oh yes.
He was breaking down.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he was completely broken, wasn't he? You're talking about the little segment that they filmed after Elvis in concert, the CBS TV special. Yeah, I mean he was a broken man. You could see that. So yeah. Okay, Vincenzo, nice to hear from you. All right. Bye. I will go back to Carolina and see if we can hear her. Hello, Carolina.
Hi.
That's better. How are you?
Good. I forgot to mute my YouTube, so I was hearing you twice, and then I couldn't go back.
And hearing me once is bad enough. Never mind twice.
It's a great show so far.
Thank you very much.
I have some mixed emotions about Vernon. And then I also have a lot of concerns. Hold on one second.
Yes, of course.
Oh, hold on. My son just got home. I also have some concerns about how he was sort of put in charge of all of his finances.
Oh yes, because this is something we haven't mentioned yet, isn't it? The way he was head of all the financial side of Elvis. So yeah.
Right. So there was that stress going back from early days, and then having to manage all of his finances, and then also worrying about how that was going. And it just all sort of accumulated. And us looking at it back in hindsight, I mean, we know we could have done this or that, and we could have had an accountant and a manager, and so on and so forth. But we all have to still remember that it was the first time that someone of Elvis's caliber exploded onto the scene, and they really didn't know what to do. They did the best they could. So I think Vernon did. So I'm 50-50. He did the best he could, but also he was a little harsh, and he was scared. He was sick. Gladys had been gone for a long time. Elvis was deteriorating. And by that point, I think he had more than one heart attack. So all of that compounded created such an environment that was so stressful that he maybe lashed out at Elvis. And I can understand that you say things that are hurtful that you later regret. I myself only have one son as well. So I understand you fiercely want to protect them, and you fiercely want to guide them down the right path.
Yes.
But at a certain point, you can no longer hold their hand. You can no longer force them to do anything. And it's sort of like, sometimes I just say to myself, he's got to learn the hard way. Except Elvis took it was, to a significant greater level. So, I mean, I have compassion for Vernon, but we also have to consider all those other factors that played into the decisions that they made.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably a very sort of brief sort of lash out, when Elvis probably said something, and Vernon probably said, well, it's your fault that I had this heart attack. I mean, we also, we also don't know, for instance, maybe later on, a couple of days later or something, in private, when it was just Elvis and Vernon together, maybe Vernon apologized to Elvis for saying that. Yes. We just don't know. We've only got Billy because Billy was there at the time when Vernon said the remark that he said to Elvis about, you've got, I blame you for this, and also you worried Gladys into the grave. But maybe at a time when it was just those two together, they made up again.
I believe so. I mean, you could literally see the love that they had for each other, especially
Hmm.
when he would call him up to the stage. I
Yes.
mean, you cannot make that stuff up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a moment in time. It was probably very regretful. He always did the best he could. He always worried that he just because he lived through those hard times in the beginning, and he was so afraid of going back to those hard times.
Hmm.
Um, and then he just learned along the way. They just all learned along the way as Elvis said, so many groundbreaking points in culture and American history. They just learned along the way, and sometimes, things just didn't pan out. But for the most part, he did the best he could, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So you would probably would have you probably would have said that he was just trying the best he could on the poll. Then, did you?
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I voted. I mean, I was going. I was in between. Did the best he could and a little harsh, but I ultimately ended up, taking into consideration all those factors.
Yeah.
Ended up with he always did the best he could.
Yeah. Okay, Carolina, it's lovely to speak to you. Thanks very much for calling in.
Thank you.
All the
Thank
best.
you. Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Okay, we have another caller actually, and I'm going to say, hi, Mark Green. How are you?
Hello, Steve. How are you doing?
Coming through loud and clear.
That's good. That's good. My first time on this was just loaded it on tonight.
Yeah. Great. So, what do you think?
Vernon. I think he was a very weak man.
Oh, right.
I think I think I heard some stories about him drinking himself, and you're right about the womanizing as well. I think obviously the Colonel probably knew how weak he was, so he could control him.
Yeah.
And and say, you got to do this. So he was controlling him as well as him controlling Elvis, like him, his son, So, and I think Elvis probably, obviously we all know he loved his mum more than I think he did his dad, and I think he probably lost a little bit of respect with him. You forget, like, we lost Gladys in 58, and did he remarry 66, 61 with Dee?
Yeah, he married her on, I think it was the 3rd of July 1960. So it was just 2 short years. 2 years. Yeah.
And Elvis didn't agree on that at all, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he as I said earlier, I'm sure if he wanted to, he could have made time and gone to the wedding, but he didn't.
Yeah,
so that speaks volumes.
Yeah. I think that was a big hole in his heart there. I think he didn't have the respect, and I think the way they made Vernon do all the accounts, like the Colonel, I think it was just easy. Elvis should have been stronger and not done that, and not let his dad be in charge of his accounts and his money,
Yeah, I heard one of the Memphis Mafia saying they just didn't trust outsiders. They wanted to keep it within the family. So Vernon was doing the financial side, and Parker was doing the managerial side, and that was it. Yeah,
but you can see with the later dates, where did all the money go? Vernon must have spent a bit as well, but not even saying anything to his son about it.
Yeah. I mean, we do know that Vernon definitely liked the money and the trappings that it brought.
Yeah, I don't think Vernon was like Parker. He wasn't a gambling man, but I think he liked his smoking, didn't he? He liked to drink, and I think he liked the ladies. And he probably liked, the odd flash car here and stuff like that, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I think he did things behind the scenes that probably didn't even tell his son.
Yeah.
And I suppose when it comes to head to a head and the hospital thing, I suppose you could say he might have been a bit frustrated. I suppose 75, it was starting to be a bit of a hard time with the Colonel and Elvis and Vernon, and things weren't going as well as they should have been. And when you see the Baz film the same, that tension was there. But you could blame he wasn't too well, But Elvis still, he must have respected him in some other way, because he always was there at the concerts. He always called him up, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt there was a genuine love between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there was, and I think if Elvis had been a little bit stronger himself and a little bit wiser, he would have seen what the Colonel was trying to do to his dad, as well as him. Twisting a few things around and saying, Vernon, you've got to tell your son this and blah blah blah. But it was just awkward. It was just awkward, wasn't it, between the three of them? And I think by the end, Elvis had probably gave up about it already, hadn't they?
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah.
All right, Mark.
Yeah.
As always,
okay,
thanks a lot.
Okay, yeah, mate. Take
All
care.
Right, bye. Yeah, nice to speak to Mark on the Discord, actually, because that's the main way we're trying now to handle the calls through. You can call on the other ways as well, the Messenger and WhatsApp and Instagram if you wish, but we are sort of trying to keep it over now to Discord. And somebody else that's used Discord is Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla.
Hey, Steve, my boy, how are you?
Well, what do you think of Vernon Presley?
Well, now, I'm going to start by saying, aren't we marvellous with the benefits of 2020 vision? Huh?
Yeah. And we weren't there either.
We're looking back. Yeah. Families are complex, Steve.
They are, yeah.
There's none of them black and white.
No.
And I think it's unfair of us to maybe comment on a situation that we weren't there or involved in. However, in saying that, I think that for Elvis to be the kind of human being he was, he had to have been surrounded by love. Because that's what he did for the people around him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he had to have seen love and attention. And if you think about it, Elvis was very much a family man. His grandmother moved in with them. His aunt moved in with them. And I think that would have happened if Elvis wasn't Elvis Presley. I think he was the kind of man that would have looked after those people, and that was family, and family was important.
Yeah, but don't forget, Vernon didn't always agree with Elvis taking family in. Look at the way, allegedly how he treated Billy after Elvis died. He wanted to keep the caravan, the mobile home out the back. He told Billy that it wasn't his furniture, it belonged to the estate. So, I don't think there was much love lost between Billy and Vernon now.
I suppose, again, I'll go back to what I said earlier, Steve. Families are complex.
Yeah.
We don't know what transpired in between. We don't know if Billy did something that Vernon took offence to at the time. We really don't know, and we're hearing very one-dimensional versions of situations that may or may not have occurred. Do I think Vernon loved Elvis in whatever way he could? Then yes is the answer to that. Do I think Elvis loved Vernon? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was a family man to the core, and I think that as for Vernon's running around gallivanting or whatever it was. I could say something very sexist, and I really don't want to. But nothing much has changed in that category.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I know what you're saying. I'll say it for you. Men will always be men. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't want anybody, so don't go bashing me now, peeps.
No.
But, nothing much has changed in that aspect. And I think you also have to take into consideration, we talk regularly about the women and their availability and their, willingness to be available to Elvis. I'm one of them women. Just happens that he's not around anymore. I would do it, hands down, no bother. The only man on the planet that might get me. But anyway, so I think people were very willing to accommodate Vernon in order to get closer to Elvis too.
Oh,
so
of course, yeah. I mean,
that Vernon had to.
I mean, we know that Dee wanted Elvis, and when she couldn't get Elvis, she settled for Vernon.
God, wasn't she great to settle at all? But anyway.
So
look, I think, and I also think too that at that time in 75, obviously Vernon had the heart attack. Things were different, lifestyles were different. The medical treatment wasn't there. If you had a heart attack, it's likely you died more than survived in them days, statistically. And if we go back and look at those kind of medical conditions and how many people successfully recovered from them. So I think Vernon was running scared at the time. And if he said those things or things like those things, I truly believe that he did it in order. He used the one weapon he had left. If he thought his mortality was staring him in the face, he used the one weapon he had to try and make Elvis see the wood for the trees.
Yeah. See, that's what I thought. I thought maybe
I
he
have to believe that.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to get Elvis to change his ways, and of course
He stared in the face.
Yeah, he was frightened as well. I'm sure he was frightened. He was just having
stared in the face by his own mortality.
Yeah.
Likelihood he wouldn't survive,
Yeah.
and he's watching his son travel a road that is just not good, healthier, and whatever greed or whatever misdirected financial powers that drove Vernon, whatever they were, he still loved his son, and he didn't certainly want him to continue on the path he was. So I voted that he did it in the hopes to change Elvis.
Oh, right.
I do believe he loved him.
Try to get Elvis to change his ways. Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
And as a parent, why wouldn't you? You'd say anything if you thought it would give them the kick.
Yeah, of course you would. Of course you would.
Reality.
All right, Priscilla.
So I don't think it's malicious.
Wonderful
Cheers,
call.
Steve.
Wonderful call. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, babes. Talk to you later. Bye.
Okay. What wonderful calls we had tonight. Really, really good. Thanks very, very much to everybody that called in. And we move on and we do This Day in Elvis History. And I can probably take myself out of the calls for now. Okay. If anybody else wants to join the queue, I will see your name in the queue and we can chat. Right. February the 11th, 1955. What have we got here? We have got... Yes. Elvis performed twice this day. First at the Sport Arena Carlsbad, New Mexico at 4 p.m. and later in the evening at Hobbs, New Mexico. 1956, a snowstorm almost prevented Elvis from driving to New York from Charlotte, North Carolina. With almost no time to spare, Elvis arrived at Studio 50 for his third appearance on the stage show at CBS Studios, New York City at 8 p.m. CBS finally gave in to pressure of Steve Scholes at RCA and allowed Elvis to perform Heartbreak Hotel along with Blue Suede Shoes. Other guests on the show were Ella Fitzgerald and Jackie Miles. I don't know whether it was CBS who were holding out not letting Elvis sing Heartbreak Hotel. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the Colonel, although the Colonel would want him to push Heartbreak Hotel. 1957, at Paramount, Elvis worked on Loving You. Elvis filmed the tavern scene in which an envious local thug picked a fight with Elvis's character singer Deke Rivers, who, like his real-life counterpart, definitely appealed to his girlfriends. To their girlfriends. 1958, King Creole production. Elvis recorded soundtrack material at Paramount Soundstage from 1 p.m. to 9:55 p.m. He recorded Steadfast, Loyal and True, and he worked on the song Danny, which was still an option to be used as the title song. In case the film's name would remain A Stone for Danny Fisher. 1959, an employee of a German film company came to the house to try to persuade Elvis to sing just one song in an upcoming production. Elvis explained that he was hesitant to do anything that might lead to resentment on the part of his fellow soldiers. In passing, he expressed almost equal concern about fan resentment when he was unable to sign autographs. Janie Wilbanks, yes, we have photographs here. Janie Wilbanks, the girl that Elvis met at the Memphis train station when the troop train passed through, had come to Germany to visit her uncle and stayed with Elvis for nearly a week. And there she is in 1959 with Elvis. And there she is getting a kiss from the troop train. And it looks like George Klein in the background. Yes, it is. Okay. 1960. Elvis received his full Sergeant Stripes and he threw a party to celebrate. 1961. Wild in the Country, reshooting the ending. We have 1963, Fun in Acapulco at Paramount Studios. 1966, Elvis reported to MGM for pre-production on Spin Out. And there's a great shot of Elvis in Spin Out. 1968, we've got Elvis at Graceland with Lisa Marie and Priscilla. Of course, she would have only been, 11 days old? Yep. 1970, 71, 72, 73, 74, Elvis performed dinner and midnight shows at the International, and then from 1972 onwards it became the Hilton. 1975, as we already know because of the topic that we've been talking about, Elvis had been hospitalized since January the 29th and was joined by his father on the 5th after suffering a heart attack. And we don't really need to go over again what Vernon said to Elvis, but that was just occurring around about this time 49 years ago. And 1977, Elvis headed out on a 10-day tour that would begin the next day in Hollywood, Florida. Okay, that was this day in Elvis history. And you still have time to vote on that poll. Was Vernon unfair about his remarks to Elvis, saying that it was his fault about the heart attack and he worried Gladys into an early grave? Or was he trying to get Elvis to change his ways? Or was he using Elvis? Or was he trying the best he could? So I'll leave that poll open for a little bit longer. As always, I do ask you to send in your ideas. If you want to send me in underrated songs, Photoshop smoking hot photos, songs you wish Elvis had sung live. He sung them in the studio, but he didn't sing them live. Funny caption photos or anything you want us to discuss as a topic, send those in. And I also kindly ask you to subscribe and click the bell if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have by now, but it does actually make a difference, subscribing and clicking the bell and selecting all. And also, we're sort of, as you can see up above me, 300 likes. If everybody that watches this live stream clicks on the little thumbs up below this video, then the more likes it gets, the more people see these videos. And what we're trying to do is we are trying to keep Elvis's name and legacy alive. So those likes are quite important. We target 300 likes for every video, every live stream. But if we can get more the merrier, is the saying, isn't it? So yes. And I've been pushing this as well. The Discord server that I keep talking about, we have a lot of fun on that. We do Elvis picture of the day, as you can see there. We post a picture and we get people to vote on it. And then we add up the votes at the end of the month. And there's an overall winner at the end of the month for picture. And we also have an Elvis fan chat as well, which you can see there as well. Everybody chatting about our favorite subject, Elvis. So, and there's a link below this video for the Discord server if you want to join. Please do. We have a lot of fun on it. We really do. Photoshop. I'm going to do Photoshop. Yes. It's this one. Terrible. A lovely shot, apparently, of Elvis and Priscilla, but it's not. It's this one. And I've got a little bit of information about it, I believe. I thought I did anyway. Maybe I didn't type it out. Yeah. I thought I did. But anyway, as you can see, the one on the left is the genuine photograph, and then the one on the right is the Photoshop of Elvis and Priscilla. I thought I typed out a little bit of information about that, but I didn't. Okay. Never mind. Because the lady that Elvis, the blonde-haired lady that Elvis is with, is a singer's wife, but I can't recall who the singer is at the moment. I must have forgot to type that out in my notes. Steve. Oh no, here we are. Haha. Priscilla's head has been photoshopped onto the body of R&B singer Wayne Cochran's first wife, Linda, backstage at the International Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada in January 1970. And Elvis's 1968 head has been photoshopped onto his 1970 body. There you go. I knew I typed it out somewhere. There you are. So that's who that young lady is with Elvis. Now, we go on. A song I wish Elvis had recorded, suggested by Laurie Gelman. And it's The Weight by The Band. That's the name of the band. The Band. The Weight is a song by the Canadian-American group The Band that was released as a single in 1968 and on the group's debut album, Music from Big Pink. Now, let's have a look. It's one of the band's best-known songs, gaining considerable album-orientated rock airplay, even though it was not a significant hit single for the group in the US, peaking at only number 63. After it was released, the song debuted just 6 days later on KHJ's Boss 30 Records and peaked at number 3 weeks later. In 1969 movie, Easy Rider used the song as recorded by the band, but it was not licensed for the soundtrack album. To deal with this, the studio commissioned a cover version of the song for the soundtrack album. The B-side of The Weight was Bob Dylan's song that Elvis briefly fooled with in the studio in May 1971, whilst recording It's Only Love. It was called I Shall Be Released. He sang a brief 60-second rendition of it, but never truly tried to record it. Laurie says, there are many versions of this great song, and I would love to have heard Elvis sing it. In the studio, live, with his male and female backing singers, whatever, it would have been a real treat for all our ears. So I'm going to put a link to that song, The Weight, The Band, and you can check it out. Let me know. You can let me know below if you thought he would have done a good job. Now, what else have we got? You've still got time to vote on the poll if you want. Was Vernon unfair about his remarks to Elvis, trying to get Elvis to change his ways, using Elvis, or trying the best he could? I'll leave that another few minutes for you. Now, we've got Caption This Photo. Yes. And it was... what was it? It was the one with Elvis and... have I got it? Let's have a look. You know, I must have forgotten to put the photograph of the Caption This Photo. But let me just see if I can upload it while I'm talking. Image, and go open, and go browse. I hope I've got it. Yeah, there it is. Open and go. Okay. There it is. Caption This Photo. Sorry about that. I didn't have it uploaded for you. And it's a very funny one. That gentleman actually behind Elvis, I know some people know this, but others didn't. That's Tom Diskin, who was Colonel Tom Parker's right-hand man. And some of the captions were, "Help, there's a devil in disguise in my room. Not another paternity suit. Get out of bed and wash your face and hands." I like that one. "I just had a dream that I was in a movie singing in a helicopter full of dogs. Hey Doc, where have you put that thermometer?" But the winner with 20 likes, Margaret Teare. I think that's how you pronounce your surname, Margaret. Teare. It could be Teary, I don't know, but Teare. Margaret, your winning caption is, "Quick Elvis, get up. We can go on tour in Europe. The Colonel got a passport." Yes. So there you are. So we have to, of course, give Margaret a round of applause. And I will be doing next week's caption about Tuesday. I normally post it on the community tab on this channel, so check it out from about Thursday. That's the caption this... Now we're going to do I Wish Elvis Had Sung This Song Live. Chris R. Yes, this is your one you wish he'd sung live. And it's from the Elvis Fool album, as it's known. Padre Don Jose is a French language song written by Jacques Leroux and Alain Romans, originally released in 1956 by Gloria Lasso. In 1957, Paul Francis Webster wrote English lyrics for the song called Padre. The following year is released as a single by Tony Arden. Her version peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies in the US. Marty Robbins reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart with his version of Padre in 1970. In a 1958 interview, Elvis said that Padre by Tony Arden was his favourite song. He recorded his version on Saturday, May the 15th, 1971, and was released on his 1973 album Elvis, sometimes known as Elvis the Fool album. Chris told me, I absolutely love this track. I love how he sings Padre. Its powerful parts, the end is fabulous. How he holds it and how he sustains it is just magic. If you're not familiar with this, I will put a link below to Padre. And that is a song that she wishes Elvis had sung live. Right, I think I will close the poll. Let's have a look at the poll. Was Vernon unfair in his remarks to Elvis? Was he trying to get Elvis to change his ways, using Elvis, or just trying the best he could? So let's have a look at that poll. Okay. Right. We do find that... Okay. There we are. And the result is 42% unfair about his remarks to Elvis. Trying to the best he could, 33%. And tried to get Elvis to change his ways, 14%. And only 9% say that they thought Vernon was using Elvis. So that's the results of the poll this week, and thanks to everybody that voted for or voted in the poll. Right, so underrated Elvis song suggested by Kirsty Garland. Hi Kirsty, thanks for sending this in. It's Lonely Man is a song recorded by Elvis as part of the soundtrack for his 1961 motion picture Wild in the Country, but eventually dropped from the movie. The movie was originally titled Lonely Man, and an excerpt of Elvis singing the song could be seen in the original trailer, but the song was cut before release and the movie's title changed. The background vocals are provided by the Jordanaires. Elvis recorded the solo version on November the 7th, 1960 at Radio Recorder Studio in Hollywood in just 4 takes. And not all of those were complete, I don't think. In 1961, I have this for you. Lonely Man was released as a flip side to the single Surrender. In the United States, Lonely Man peaked at number 32 on the Billboard Hot 100, while Surrender reached number 1. Both are certified platinum by the RIAA. Later, the song was included in the Elvis 1968 Greatest Hits album. Well, actually, not the Greatest Hits album, the Elvis Gold Records Volume 4 album. Kirsty says it's an underrated song. What do you think? Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. And I'll also put a link to Lonely Man as well. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Lonely Man, though. So, that sort of covers the underrated Elvis song. We better have a look. If I don't show you this and I forget I will get hung, drawn, and quartered for it. So let's have a look. Without no further ado, I am going to show you this week's smoking hot picture. Now, imagine you're sat in a cafe or a restaurant, and you're tucking into your burger or whatever, or your piece of cake, and having a cup of coffee, and then you're looking down, and you get the impression that somebody's just sat opposite you, and you look up and you see that. What do you think of that? Imagine that sat opposite you at the table in the restaurant. Yes. So that is our smoking hot picture for this week. Look at those lips, girls. Dolores says, holy smokes. Lonely Man would have been a nice song to put in somewhere at the end of an Elvis movie. Yes, would have been a good idea. Hypnotic Eyes. I've choked on my cake. Okay. So that's everybody's opinion on. Oh, no. Carolina says, Lord have mercy. Rebel Vegan says, gorgeous face. It looks to be sort of 1956-ish, 1957-ish, doesn't it? Although I would say probably 1956. Steve is so cute with those smoking hot photos. Thanks, Lily. Thank you. Ed says, well, I'm not sure whether that's Ed or Ed Sue, but that's super stud. I wouldn't be able to eat. Yeah. Kirsty says, looks 56 to me as well. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very, very much for joining me again tonight. And if you're watching on Catch Up as well, thanks very much for stopping by and viewing this live stream. And to all the callers, great callers this week. We'll have another topic next week, which I hope you can all join in and call in and give me your opinion. And also thanks to Maxine and Chris for moderating for me. Whoops, wrong one. So until next week, next Sunday, look after yourselves. Congratulations to Dylan for winning Fan of the Month, but very, very nicely, he's donated it to Brent. So Brent, I'll be in touch. You can tell me what Blu-ray you want. But until then, take it away, Al.
Elvis has left the building. Thank you and good night.